Under 3 minutes. But we are live. James Dodkins, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. How's everything been going? How is your customer service week treating you so far?
Customer service week is an amazing week. It's my favorite holiday of the year. I equate it to, Christmas in October. No gifts, but it's not about the giving.
The gift of customer service.
Yes, it's the giving of great customer service. So we're 2 minutes away from the official start, but it's always nice to come on a little bit early, let people know we're here, let people warm up. I'm going to switch over to comments, and so we'll see people as they come in.
Dude, let's see if I can share this as well this time.
Yeah, definitely share. Hey, let's see what this looks like. I want to see how do we like this one? Oh, that's nice.
Ooh. Oh, you get the full.
Oh yeah.
Full panorama of.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty special. Man.
Yep.
All right, let's.
Oh yeah, I love it. So, man, how exciting is this customer service week?
I'm incredibly excited by it.
Mm-hmm. So, oh boy, there's already 7 people on. Wow, 7, 8 people. Here they come. 9, 10, 11, 12. Gabrielle. Hey, folks, great to see both of you. We are happy. Oh, my friend. Now I see her. I need to get you on my show, Gabrielle, for Amazing Business Radio. We talked about this. So maybe after we're finished here, you and I can connect maybe later this afternoon and just exchange some emails, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to have you on the show. And, do you know him from Microsoft?
Yes, I do. What I do, yeah.
You know him from CCW.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Claire is here. Hello, Claire. And there's Jared. Remember Jared? So Jared is a student at Miami of Ohio. Just a really smart dude, and my nephew. Thank you. For
this time he said hello to both of us.
Yeah, because he knows.
Yes.
I talked to him on Monday. I go, so I just need the real feedback. What do you think of the show? And he said, I like James. I like James a lot. You guys have good energy together. He likes your sense of humor. And he said it's like this laid back. It's not Jerry Seinfeld humor. And but that's all right. Hey, Sean, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. We've got Sean. We've got Sammy. And we've got lots of people coming in today. We've got Neil. Hello, Neil. Great to see you. Happy Customer Service Week to you. So, hey, I've got an idea. As we did on Monday, we admitted we have no agenda. We have no script. We have nothing planned, whatever. Although I did ask James, because I challenged him to a song, because we were talking about customer service being simple. I said, you always equate music to service and experience. Can you give us like the simplest, easiest song? And I don't think I stumped the expert, but he threw it back in my face. So I played what I considered the easiest lyrics to remember. Tequila. Dun, 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 dun. So this is James's turn to play. So I asked James to be thinking about it. And so for the last 2 nights, he has been practicing. Well, hello, Buddy Rice. And hello, Crystal. Good to see you, Crystal. Thanks for joining us. And my buddy Rice, who just did a program a few minutes ago. He finished up one of our training sessions. Buddy works with us, and he handles a lot of live training. And there's Miles Courtney Thomas. Hello, guys from Wales, and Wales, and having a wedding in Wales. And Garima, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but thank you so much. It looks like you're coming to us, perhaps from maybe India. Who knows? Anyway, as I was saying, if anybody has a question, we do not have an agenda today. If anybody has a topic they'd like us to riff on and start on, we're going to go ahead and get started. Miles, I'll bet Miles is involved with, with Toby. I bet Miles works with Toby. And hey, Vivek, nice to see you. And
I think, actually, weirdly, I think Miles is Toby.
Miles is Toby.
I think so. Confirm in the comments, please.
Miles, are you Toby? Confirm the. Yeah. All right. Go, James Dodkins. Go. Rock and roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. G-man.
And Neil Baum, the Wiz, is in the house. Let me tell you about Neil Baum. He is a doctor in New Orleans, considered one of the world's foremost urologists. Okay. And
wow.
His nickname is the Wiz. But he wrote.
That is the best.
So he wrote a great book. And especially for men as they get into their, I'm going to say probably into their 30s and 40s. But the book, are you ready for this? And it's available on Amazon. It's called How's It Hangin'? And so, Neil, I'm giving you a little bit of a shout out. I hope that people head over to Amazon. And if that's of interest to them, pick up the book. It's really about anything related to the male situation down there. Any, prostate, all the questions you've ever had are answered in this book, including the, what's happening to me as I get older question. So, all right, well, let's rock and roll. So, yeah, I think that, so the Miles is Toby. Oh, he is. It says I am. and I just emailed back and forth with Toby a few minutes ago. So we miss you, and Buddy is on the call too. And because he mentioned that. So are there any topics? Here it is. How can we utilize random acts of kindness approach to creating amazing experiences? Excellent question, Toby. Let's let James or Rockstar take this one first, and then I'll give my take on it.
Well, you know what? I've got two opinions on this. One opinion is it's a really cool thing to do. The other opinion is you got to be careful with it. Maybe I'll tell you both of them and see what you all think. So, random acts of kindness, really cool. So, what I would do is, if you did want to do this, tell your employees, hey, look, you've got a discretionary budget. You've got this amount to play with every month, every quarter, whatever. You can split it out however you want. And it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. If that's give somebody a free month, give somebody a refund, send somebody something. If you hear on the phone that it's somebody's wedding next week, you can send them flowers, something like really cool stuff like that. It's got to be authentic though. I really do feel, because if it's inauthentic,
it's authentic.
Yeah, but the problem is with that, you can then start to create inconsistent experiences, especially if it's not explained why you're doing it, or if it's out of context, or if it is that little bit too random. If it's completely random, I might start to come to expect that every time, and then when I don't get it next time, I might be a little bit peeved. I was like, oh, well, he gave me that discount last time. Why won't he give it me again? So you don't want to make a rod for your own back with it. And I think the way you skirt that issue is to make sure it is authentic. What do you think, Shep?
Yeah, I think that's the key. I also think that it's a great training opportunity, because if the employees share the random acts of kindness with other employees will start to learn what's most effective and most powerful, and the best way to use these random acts of kindness. Yeah. Great question. We have another question from Martha. There it is. Hey, Martha, how are you? Hi, Shep Hyken, and hello, James Dodkins. Am interested to, I know she didn't mean to leave that out. I think she, it's a Freudian slip or some kind of a slip. Anyway, interested to hear about quality assurance in customer service. So I'm going to take that, and happy customer service week back to you. I'm going to take that one as really the metrics you apply to customer service and experience, and saying, how are we properly measuring it? And the first step is, let's create a benchmark measurement. If you don't already have it, let's go out and get it. Now let's roll out whatever we're doing, and let's watch how the numbers change, ideally change for the positive. So what the basic, my favorite line from Peter Drucker is, you can't manage what you don't measure. And service is a completely measurable event. James, what's your thought?
I'm going to say you got to make sure they're the right measures, because if you measure the wrong thing, people get really good at doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
go ahead, finish up. I've got an example that just today, one of our readers of the Shepherd letter just emailed in a question or a comment. I'll share that with you.
Go on, you do it, and then I'll finish off.
No, because it ties into exactly what you were saying.
All right. Well, the deal is, if you're measuring the wrong thing, if you're driving people to do it, you're going to be looking at your scoreboards, and you're going to be going, "We are doing amazingly well. Look how brilliant we are. Look how brilliant you are for doing this thing." When in fact the customer's there going, "Well, hang on a second. Nothing's been done for me." And I think you need to make sure you lean these measures towards outcomes.
Right.
The problem we all fall into, and the trap we all fall into, is we are so quick to measure tasks and activities, just the doing of things. We very rarely measure outcomes, the thing that's actually been achieved for the customer. And I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone, but customers only really care about that stuff. They don't necessarily care about the amount of time it took you to click from one thing to another thing, or they don't necessarily care about how many minutes it took you to complete the call. What they care about is achieving the thing they need to achieve. So first step, understand what that thing is, and then align your measures towards achieving that thing.
Yeah. So here's what was written in today based on an article. Somebody said the support center they worked at were measuring what she felt was the wrong measurement, if you will. And that was the average handle time on the call. She said somebody actually got fired for spending too much time with a customer on the call. Now,
that's the dumbest thing.
Well, maybe dumb, maybe not, but we'll let them decide. But I will.
No, I just decided it's the dumbest thing.
Right. I'm against it, but there are reasons you might want to control it. Zappos, that's got that world famous legendary 10-hour phone call, right? That's just over the top. However, my effort in explaining to people that manage or want to measure average hold time is, if you're trying to get the customer off the phone and you're only answering the question that they're asking right there, yet there could be another question out there, it's ridiculous to get them off the phone and have them have to call back a day or two later. Number one, frustrating them. Number two, taking more time to authenticate them and make sure they're who they are, which means ultimately you are costing the company more money by not spending an extra minute or two, even seconds on the phone to make sure that customer is taken care of.
So do you know what a weird thing is? So my career started out in telesales. So I was on the phone. I mean, other than I did work in McDonald's for a while, but I don't class that as part of my career, even though actually, as an aside, great company to work for, really good fun. But anyway, so when I got into the corporate world, a job that didn't involve burgers, I was selling insurance to people on the phones. And one of our biggest measures was how long we spent on the phone. They wanted us to spend longer on the phone. If we didn't spend enough time on the phone trying to objection handle, trying to get them to do that, we would get in trouble as well. And the problem was sometimes right away that person is not interested, but you waste your time trying to keep them on the phone just for those little extra seconds. So you
got to be the right reason. Got to be the right reason. Yep.
Yeah. So you could have just got off and gotten to someone else who was more interested that you could have a proper conversation with, but because you knew you were going to get it in the neck for not spending enough time. So I get it. You want to resolve problems in the quickest time possible, for both for you as a company to save money, but both for the customer to save their time. But there comes a point where when you're rushing a customer off the phone because you care more about your average handle time than actually resolving their problems, you're heading in the wrong direction. The customer can tell, you can tell. The agents aren't going to enjoy doing that. They don't enjoy forcing people off the phone because they're going to get whipped if they're. So you got to be. I understand monitoring it. I understand measuring it. I don't understand beating people with it.
Yep, it's got to be done for the right reasons for both sides.
Yep.
Let's jump to Tim, who's got a great question. With the pandemic, how can we redefine CX and make more wow is dramatically changing now? Can I jump in first and let you finish? Because I think that wow needs to be defined to begin with. What is wow? My opinion, and I want to know if you think this, James, over-the-top experiences are typically what people think of as wow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. However, I think it's unreasonable to expect that every experience you have is the opportunity to create over-the-top wow. Yes?
Agreed.
So let's define wow. My definition of wow is the same as basically amazement, and that is real simple. Better than average, consistently, predictably, as in always better than average, so that your customers say, they always get back to me quickly. They always take care of me when there's a problem. They always are so knowledgeable. They're always so friendly. That's my definition of wow. Regardless of a pandemic or not, I think that definition stays the same. Now, I want to address the changes that are being made, but James, what's your thought on my whole wow concept?
Well, sometimes, Shep, you just need to take a different view. And if you take the word wow and look at it the other way around,
It's wow.
It's, well, if you flip it that way,
turn it upside down.
It's MOM.
Yes.
Which also could stand for what, Shep? It could stand for moment of magic. Wow, yes, I pay attention to the things that you say. Yes, I do.
Didn't we do this before, you and I?
No, I'm not sure. Probably.
Wow. Moments of magic. So,
perfect. But you are right, dude. Seriously, some of the companies I like most in the world are the companies that are just consistently average, consistently slightly above average. Let's say. You know exactly what you're going to get every single time without fail. I don't think you need to wow customers every single time trying to go over the top of it.
You have chances to do that. Isolated incidents. You heard it's back to the random acts of kindness question.
Be authentic.
Yeah.
And I think companies try and systemize it. They try and say every third customer do this, or every Tuesday do that, and it loses its power. It loses its authenticity.
Yep. So, James, real quick, and by the way, while we're defining wow, our friend Neil Baum, and I want to come back to the change that Neil's talking, that Tim is talking about. But Neil asked how you measure wow. Now we kind of defined wow. But how do you measure it? And again, we go back. There's so many different ways to measure it. You've got Net Promoter Score, NPS. On a scale of 0 to 10, finish the sentence. What's the likelihood?
Yeah, I don't like NPS, so I'm not going to.
Well, I do. This is what I love to do, is disagree. Maybe if we have time today, we can disagree on the
Dude, I'll get into that
debate, right? But you can use CSAT. There's so many measurements that are out there. You can determine objective versus subjective, that type of thing. But before we move on, and we've got a surprise guest waiting in the wings here, I want you to give me, I want to go back to Tim. He was asking about the changes that are dramatically happening versus COVID. What do you think the biggest 2 changes are? Maybe 3.
Well, tell you what, can I answer a slightly different question?
Sure.
I want to talk about what the 2 unchanges are. 2 things that should really stay the same. That if you are doing customer experience right, nothing should have changed. So as far as I'm concerned, when you look at customer experience as a company, there's lots of moving parts. There's lots going on. But the general philosophy should be understand who your customers are, understand their needs and successful outcomes, and then deliver them. Right?
Yep.
If you are doing that right in the first place, things shouldn't really change all that much, because customer experience isn't about what you do. It's about how you think. It's about philosophy. It's about methodology. It's about mindset. And if you are going into this thinking, okay, who are our customers? What are their needs? How do we deliver them? Customers' needs change all the time. It's just getting a little bit more accelerated right now.
Right,
so rather than saying the things that are different, the things that are the same should be understand your customers' needs, deliver them.
Yep. So I think if there is a change, and I've always said that nothing's changed in customer service or experience in the last, not just decade, but probably hundreds of years since business started. And that is, customer wants to interact with you. They want to do business with you. They have a problem with you. At the end, they just want to be happy. We can make them happy. We're doing a great job. All right. Consistency is the greatest wow. We've got great comments. Here's one. Do you have experience with CXI? Customer experience?
I do. I'm extremely CXy.
Great. So
that was funny in my head.
No question. But you know what it's time for? it's time to surprise you, James, with a
Okay.
celebrity guest, a guest who is considered a rock star in her field. She, you know her. I don't know how well you know her, but she definitely knows you. You've worked together. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the queen of customer journey mapping, Annette Franz. There she is.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Good, good. I love all this talk about Rockstar. And as I was waiting to, backstage, I was thinking, guitars. Let's just switch topic and talk about Eddie Van Halen today. How's that?
Oh, man. You break my heart. Eddie Van Halen passed away last night at only 65.
I know.
So young. So young.
All right. Just wanted to mix it up a little bit. I was thinking about that as I was thinking.
Well, thank you. For those who don't know who Annette is considered one of the world authorities on customer journey mapping, determining what the customer's interaction points look like along their journey of doing business with you. Welcome to Customer Service Week. And yesterday was actually officially Customer Experience Day. This is one heck of a week. It's like Thanksgiving and Christmas rolled into one for me, but without the presents. Okay. Nobody sent me any present, and I don't want any. I just, I think the fact that everybody's here and celebrating with us is more than enough. Annette,
agreed.
Tell us your take on what's going on in customer service and experience and how journey mapping has evolved. You've got 20 seconds, ready, go. No, seriously, take your time.
Right? Exactly. Oh boy. Where do you begin, right? I mean, it's been an interesting year. And I heard James say, that for those companies that have got, it's true. If you've got the culture, if you've got the customer-centric culture, if you've been doing things right on, you're golden, right? You need to tweak nuances, right? We need to keep listening to customers. We need to keep understanding customers. And that's probably the biggest thing that happened this year is that customer insights became like the golden ticket, at the beginning of the year, or the beginning of this pandemic, professionals were getting laid off, they were getting furloughed, they were getting repurposed and all of this. Then suddenly executives went, oh my gosh, I need to understand my customers. Why are we out of toilet paper? Why are we out of all these? What are they buying? Why are they hoarding? What's going on here? And so insights really became valuable. Then I started seeing friends who'd been laid off, picked up again right away in a new job, right? And those who are still working were saying, I'm like the most popular company right now. And this is what we've always, talk about CX Day yesterday. This is what we've always wanted to celebrate is that the CX team becomes the most popular, and those data and those insights are, sort of the blood flowing through the business and how we operate our business. So.
And all it took was a deathly global pandemic.
Right?
Oh, man. And that's why I believe in is people recently asked me, I was in a group meeting and they asked me, what am I most thankful for during this pandemic? And everybody's saying, I spent more time with my family. I got to know some customers better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, this sounds weird. Don't take it the wrong way, but I'm thankful for COVID-19. And the reason is not for death, destruction, but because what it's done to us as a society. In many cases, it's brought us together. It's created tighter bonds with our customers and our family. It's forced us into the future by 3 to 5 years, adapting to technologies that are very customer focused. And to your point, Annette, we're getting better at managing the journey for the customers as a result of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
James astutely said, and it took a deathly or deadly disease to make this happen. Hey, Crystal has a question. Let's bring it up here. I love this question. Oop, there it is. Crystal, would love to hear your thoughts on the impact. Crystal asks, would love to hear your thoughts on the impact of diversity and inclusion for both EX and CX. Who wants to go first?
I'll jump in on it. And you actually bring up a great point, Crystal, that I also wanted to mention that's happened this year is a larger focus or greater focus on employees, employee health, employees, all things employee, because we've also found out that customers prefer to buy from brands that take care of their employees. And it's like, wow, shocker, I've been in companies about this for 30 years. And suddenly, again, because of a pandemic, now they get it, right? So Crystal, great question. I absolutely think that it has an impact always, right? You know, I've worked with clients. As a matter of fact, I just had somebody last year who was journey mapping, and I'll just go back to journey mapping just because
that's what you do.
Well, it's one of the things that I do. I do many things. That's one of the, but it's such an important part. It really is sort of at the center of really understanding. I always say you can't transform something you don't understand, right? It's at the heart of that. But journey mapping, because they had customers who were elderly, they were blind or hard of hearing, vision was not as good as it was. So went and reimagined the entire experience for those customers, right? For customers that went into their locations and couldn't see or were, had, vision challenge, let's call it that way. So it's a huge part of it, I think. And I think the other thing we have to think about too is that diversity and inclusion, especially diversity, the definition is so broad. There's so many factors and so many attributes and so many diverse types of groups that fall into diversity. It's not just about race, it's about so many things. And I will just say, I'll tie this back to CX by saying, and EX by saying, this is why it's so important to develop personas. And you have to do the research. You have to talk to customers. You really have to take the time to understand customers and develop those personas so that you can build the experience or design the experience and deliver the experience.
Oh, you're freezing up on us. You're locking up on us occasionally, Annette. It's like Max Headroom for those that remember those.
It's quite distracting. Kids, school.
Uh-oh, she's frozen.
How about now? Hello.
Annette, I want you to go out and come back in, and I promise to let you back in as soon as you do,
okay,
because you're really pixelated right now. So, but you look good in pixels. So,
I don't think that was the compliment you thought it was. But dude, the diversity things, it's a mad one, because I suppose lots of people have got different ways and different thoughts about how to go about diversity. But the outcome that we want from it is diversity of thought, having groups of people that think different ways. Because what is the point in having a room full of people that think the exact same way? Now, the crazy thing about this is it kind of goes against a lot of the normal teachings about cultures in an organization. And people say, okay, we're going to create this culture, we're going to create a set of values, and we're going to hire people that think in line with our values. But a lot of times you end up with people that all think the exact same way, which for some things is good, but for other things it isn't.
Exactly. And it's not inclusion and diversity is not just about getting people who all think the same way. It's also, getting diverse opinions, not just diverse religions, colors.
Yeah, diverse backgrounds.
I mean, I think it's great to have all of that, and in the perfect world, we get that. Annette, you're kind of back with us. Is she kind of freezing up on us again still a little bit? Hey, you're not going to believe this. Okay, this is a special day. You're never going to have what's about to happen right now is like unprecedented in live streams related to customer service and experience. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wake the kids, phone the neighbors. John DeJulius is in the house. John, the guy who, I got to tell you, John has the #1 largest customer service summit in the world. And John, am I doing it justice?
Yeah, but it's so good to see all you. And Shep, you're clothed versus the last time I spoke to you.
You got to know that John called me back and he goes, what are you doing? I said, truth, I'm jumping in the shower right now. So I said, you don't. And there we are. And but I said, John, you got to come on the show. And first of all, you know Annette. I know you know Annette.
I know Annette. I'm a huge fan of Annette.
And you know James.
I know James. James, you're a rock star, literally and figuratively.
Thank you very much. So are you.
Have they been invited to the customer service revolution?
Not yet, but they're on the list.
All right. This is good. But so, and I share this, look at the URL below, customerservicerevolution.com. And the reason I want you to notice that is, here, I go back to it. There it is because this week, it actually started last week. It's a weekly series for the month of October. Okay. This is in lieu of the in-person experience you typically get. And if you haven't looked at it, you got to check it out. And I understand that even if you missed last week, you can go back and if you join and register, that you can go back and check it out. Now, this, I will warn you, it's not a free program. This isn't like Shep, who gives away everything. No, this is John's. This is a serious program that he has. I mean, Guy Kawasaki is this week. That's tomorrow, right?
Guy was last week.
Seth
Godin is one of the speakers tomorrow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Blanchard, Tom Bilyeu, and Jesse Itzler, and David Horsager, and the list goes on and on and on. It's really a really good lineup.
And you truly do have rock stars in the CX and CS world. But anyway, so it's good to see. I'm gonna put all of our URLs back in there, so or our handles on Twitter and how you reach us. So this is a great group of friends. We're going to probably want to answer some questions. But Annette, we got, and by the way, you look clear as ever now. I don't know. Yeah. Doesn't she look?
Dude, I've got to say, John, how do you get your background so crisp? That's a crisp background.
Thank you. I don't know. You'd have to ask someone on my team. They do it for me.
Fair enough. The answer is,
all right.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw a comment up here, and we'll get back into the program. I believe it gives us, this is related. Crystal asked a question about diversity and inclusion. I believe it gives us an opportunity to be innovative because we're thinking differently. Yes, that was James's comment, allowing us to increase market share, loyalty, retention. The list goes on. And again, it's diversity in every area, not just who you are, but how you think. Yeah. I think that's super important. Years ago, we did an exercise where I had people in groups that were in tables when we do summer training. I go, okay, everybody, we're going to play the alphabet exercise. When I say go, you have to take an object out of your pocket, your briefcase, your purse, your anything that represents each letter of the alphabet. So, like Q could be quarter, or C can be coin, but you can't use a quarter and you have to have a separate coin for the quarter. Ready, set, go. And it was amazing to me the different methods people used to create their list of 26. It was amazing what people carried in their pockets, purses, briefcases, whatever, because it's like you wouldn't believe the stuff people carried. and that it just emphasized the importance of a broad range of people, thinkers. And then also that there's more than one way to skin the cat, because some people would just throw a bunch of objects on the table and take one out by alphabet. Another person very systematically wrote the letters A through Z and then filled in as they went, and one by one in order. And so anyway, I digress, but diversity becomes important. Let's throw another question out there. How to engage customers as account managers during an epidemic? Well, John, I believe what we're looking at here is evangelism. How do we get customers to become our salespeople? Since you just jumped on, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think being a resource they can't live without, and not only being the smartest person at what you do for them, but also extending that and knowing, what their top 3 goals are as a company that has nothing to do with what you do. And I promise you, whatever their top 3 goals were in January have dramatically changed in the past 8 months. But knowing that, whatever it is, and you helping make those introductions and be a connector for them, that they can't, fathom life without you.
Yep. So customers not only become your evangelists, they refer you, they recommend you, they, back to James's favorite measurement, Net Promoter Score. On the scale of 0 to 10, what's the likelihood that you'd recommend it? Well, if you would give us a 9 or a 10, who are those people? They become your account managers. Annette, do you have a different take on that? And by the way, I'm kidding. James hates NPS. You weren't here for that. John.
I assumed it.
Annette, what's your take?
So my take is, pretty much the same. Deliver a great experience, and then your customers are going to advocate for you. They're going to be out there. We talk about those brands that have, those iconic brands, the ones, like Harley Davidson and Apple, where people are wearing tattoo. James, do you have a tattoo of one of those on your arm there? Any of those?
I might do somewhere.
I don't remember anymore. They're here somewhere. But yeah, those are the brands that have just created these brands. And I don't think you have to necessarily create raving fans and go to quote unquote extreme. I mean, that's pretty awesome if you are one of those iconic brands. But if you consistently, and I think somebody made the point earlier about consistently delivering a great experience, if you're consistently helping your customers solve their problems and do what it is that they do, I think you can build out your customers as advocates for you just by doing that. And just work, but yeah, deliver a consistent experience.
You want them to refer to you and use that word always in front of something positive. Here's Terry Kane, who says managers have a tendency to micromanage in times of crisis. Just the opposite is needed. James, thoughts?
Well, back to the question before. I mean, if you
we're not done. Sorry.
Fine. I'll leave, shall I?
You just lost control of the show, Shep. There you go.
Well, I had a good answer for it, and he moved on. I was like, oh. So, right. As an account like if you are an account manager and you're thinking about your customers, think about it. Most of the time, companies only ever interact with their customers proactively to try and sell them something or send them a bill, right? Companies never just reach out and say, hey, how's it going? So if you are in charge of an account, if you are an account manager, if you've got a portfolio of customers, why not just give them a call, see how they're doing? If you want to engage with customers, just be authentic, just reach out to them. Don't try and sell them anything. Don't be like, right, now that conversation's out of the way. Have you heard about our new super duper mega global corp account? Don't do that. Just reach out authentically and really find out how they're doing. And I tell you, they will really remember it. Look, if you can't be there for your customers in the bad times, don't expect them to be there for you in the good times.
Tweet that out.
Somebody tweet that. Yeah. I'm rubbish at Twitter.
All right. So now that you've spoken, we're going to go back to John. Managers have a tendency to micromanage in time. Now, let me tell you, John.
If I tweet it, do I have to give him credit?
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Shep.
John, everybody should know that in your prior life, and still today, you still own spas. So you talk about having that hospitality mentality. People come to you for incredible experiences. They want to pamper themselves. So that was what you did a long time ago. You still own them. You still run them as truly a CEO would from the top. You're not working there day in and day out. But this is a perfect question for you because as a manager leader in the real world, which you've done as a business owner, what's your comment to this, to Terry's thought here?
Well, I think we need entrepreneurs within our organization. And if we're putting handcuffs and, you can't sneeze without, getting it approved at the corporate level, we might as well just have our artificial intelligent bots working for us. I think it's our job to create leaders who are do great things and reward. I think it's Tom Peters or might have been he got it from the Southwest, Herb Keller, but reward fantastic failures, right? I mean, I think that's really important. So there's an old quote. I don't know who it's from. It certainly wasn't from me, but I don't need a leader that, turns left when I turn left, that bows when I bow, that turns right. My shadow does that, well enough. I need someone.
I think I said that.
Yeah. I think he did. Inspired by Shep Hyken.
So no, but it's so true. I think the E word comes to mind, and that's empowerment. Empower your people to do their job. And you know what? it's so hard to do when you feel you have your back up against the wall and you're in times of crisis. All of a sudden, it's your natural instinct to try to manage it more. And I know I'm guilty of that. You know, I know my team is listening in on this going, Shep, you should listen to yourself. I do. I hear myself loud and clear. Doesn't mean I'm going to change, but you can help me make that happen. And Claudette says, has a great comment here. Let's show her a comment. Empowered employees and the human touch are so important. So let's see. Wow, it's 12:37. We're getting close to the end here. And James,
I just want to weigh in on that. Can I just weigh in on that point for a second about the micromanaging? I think if you feel the need to micromanage, then first of all, you're maybe not the greatest manager. You know what management means, and you probably need to revisit that too. But I think if you feel the need to micromanage, I think if you feel the need to micromanage, you've hired the wrong people. I always had as I was hiring people over the years in my career, I would always look at people for, and this goes back to diversity too, right? So culture fit, they core values, all of that. But I like people who bring in different value, they have a different value that they bring to the table. They have different experiences, they have different expertise, they have different knowledge. And guess what? They're adults and they can do the job by themselves, right? I've always felt the need to be autonomous, like just point me in the right direction. What do you need to get done? And I'll get it done, right? So I look at the same. So I feel like if you feel the need to micromanage, then either you're a bad manager because you haven't, to Terry's point, you haven't empowered your employees, given them enough to go and you got the wrong.
All right. Well, we got most of that. We are hearing about every third word you're talking. It's you know what? You got to pay the internet bill.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on.
It's San Diego. San Diego's like third world over there. I mean,
yeah.
Orange County. It's Orange County. So it's
Orange County.
It's just.
It is. I got a favor for James in a moment, but first I want to remind everybody the Customer Service Revolution virtual conference happening last week, this week, next week, the week after. Is there 4 or 5 of them, John?
5 Thursdays in October.
5 Thursdays in October, which means 5 amazing events. So check out customerservicerevolution.com. Now, my request of James, because I played the guitar last time, and the challenge was simple lyrics. So I played Tequila. I thought that's pretty simple. What do you got for us, James?
You know what? You were like, he spent the past 2 days solely thinking about it. Dude, yesterday was World CX Day, so I've had a lot on. Give me the question again.
I want to hear you play the guitar. I want it simple, direct. See, here's what to me is common sense is what customer service is. It's not always so common. We call it a simple thing. Not always so simple. Simple doesn't mean easy. It just means simple. Give us something simple as a metaphor for what customer experience is about. You kind of hinted on it when you said.
I've actually got an idea. Wait there.
Okay. We're waiting. We're not hearing you. Is that on purpose? Oh, that's on purpose.
You want me to sing a little bit in the meantime?
Yeah, go for it. He's doing something. He's working on the melody. Oh, here it comes. I feel it coming. I feel it coming.
Right, it's really embarrassing, but I completely forgot how to play this, which is the stupidest thing. But, right, this is the most customer-centric riff in the world. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody knows it.
There you go. And everyone can play it, apart from me then, who forgot completely how to play it.
And my daughter at 6 years old was listening to her older sister play the piano, and she said, "Dad, I can play the piano in one finger." Dun, 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 dun. So, Smoke on the Water.
There you go.
By?
Oh, Deep Purple?
Was it Deep Purple or BTO?
Oh, God, I don't know.
I don't think so. Who's got it? Somebody in the audience is going to come up with this one. Smoke on the Water. We know that. All right.
I'm only 32.
Smoke on the Water. Oh.
Purple, deep purple.
It was Deep Purple. All right. Annette Googles faster than all of us. So here's my commitment for those that show up on Friday, because we're doing this again on Friday at noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, and in other parts of the world. And I know Garima Patet, she is with us all the way from India. And I'm going, how do I know that name? How do I know that name? Taj Hotels. That's who she is. It was racking my brain. I hope she shows up. I know it's probably middle of the night there. So what are you doing working so late? Anyway, we hope that you will come and join us. And we're going to do that. I will do a magic trick. So we had all of us, you did the guitar. I'm going to do an amazing magic trick, but you got to show up Friday to see it. So Annette, John, it's going to be better than that.
Doubt it.
Annette, John, and James, thank you so much for joining the live stream today. Thanks to all of our fans in the audience who have come here and spent part of Customer Service Week with us. We're going to have another discussion about all things service and experience. Remember, customerservicerevolution.com. My buddy John, I know that next year you're going to have Annette and James. Oh, I shouldn't put it out there, but maybe we'll talk about it anyway. I represent them. I'm their agent. You've got to go through me to get to them. And thanks, everybody, for coming. Love you guys. Thanks. Happy customer.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.